7 years down there in Nicaragua in the factory, and the last 3 years here in the United States. For me, it will be also a honor to introduce you Willy Herrera, and it will be very nice to introduce you as well Lee Crawford. That's right. So Willy, he is our master blender at Drew Estate. He has been working in the tobacco industry for 14 years, and he has been with Drew Estate for 4 years. Willy was a person that created Herrera Esteli. He also was a person that created Norteño. And this year we released the latest release, which was the Underground Shade. So that cigar was blended by Willy Herrera, so the experience and the knowledge that Willy has today is going to share with every one of you. On the other hand, we have Lee. Lee has been working in so many areas in the industry. He has a lot of experience, he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to tobacco, and especially when it comes to Kentucky Fire Cure. Lee is also considered the legend, and we are right here in an excellent place where everybody, including myself, that we're gonna learn a lot from these two gentlemen right here. So Lee, so what's going on right here, my man?
Right here, the guys are what we call in the stripping process. They're just selecting tobacco off the stalk into different grades, and they'll put it into these boxes, which we call flakes. Then it'll go on to a basket to be sold to the company.
So I have a question for Willy. So since we have been working with the Kentucky Fire Cure, Willy has a lot of experience when it comes to other different black tobaccos, which is black tobacco is for premium cigars. So what is the interesting thing that you see in the Kentucky Fire Cure, Willy?
And the Kentucky tobacco, or this Fire Cure tobacco, it's very noticeable when you put it in a cigar. It's very strong, not in strength, but in flavor. It's a tobacco that you could put a quarter leaf or a half of a quarter leaf, and you know that tobacco is in that cigar. It's very rich. It's very just very pungent. You know it's there with the process. How you guys saw at the other barn, how they cure that tobacco with the wood, that smokiness. You know that tobacco is in any cigar. It's very different from any other tobaccos that I've worked with, from the Dominican, from Honduras, from Nicaragua, from Mexico. Those tobaccos, you put them in a cigar, and they complement each other. They blend well together, all the tobaccos. This one, depending on what type of cigar you're trying to come up with, a small little piece, and you know it's there. So you really have to blend it very carefully so it doesn't overpower the cigar. Very different from all the other tobaccos that I've worked with.
Well, one of the things that you're gonna notice is that right here in this beautiful tobacco farm, this is a legit operation, These people right here, which is a family business, they have been growing tobacco for more than 100 years. And basically, for us, it is an honor to be working with them. And basically, Robert, which was the person that was with Jonathan, he is the fourth generation, So one of the things that really makes everything work together is the relationship that comes into business, And basically, when you add the knowledge and the experience, that's even better, So Willy's gonna let us know a little bit about his background. So Willy, where everything start for you, man?
So my family has a factory in Miami, in Little Havana, and I was always involved with the factory, but not full-time. So I was full-time with them for the last 10, 11 years. And how I basically learned, or had to learn, about tobacco and cigars was in order for me to have a cigar that I would enjoy and I like to smoke at the factory. When I came on board full-time there, we had 2 rollers and we had 2 cigars, 2 different blends, or basically one blend with 2 different wrappers. And I didn't like any of them. So I was constantly buying cigars and smoking those cigars in my factory. Well, you can imagine nobody liked that. When I took off the bands, they didn't like the fact that I was buying cigars and smoking those. So I either had to deal with the constant hassle every day, for lack of a better word, or figure out to make something that I would enjoy to smoke. So I decided to just sit down every day, smoke the tobacco, try the tobacco that we had, and learn how to roll a cigar so I could taste different tobaccos together. And so I taught myself how to roll a cigar. Then I taught myself how to put a wrap on a cigar. And then I just started putting different stuff together. And because we're in Little Havana, there's a lot of tourists. Not that much anymore, but there used to be a lot more. Where our factory is located, you had La Gloria Cubana across the street, and Pepin Garcia, which is now my father, right next to that. So you had a lot of tour buses, minimum 2 tour buses every day that would pull up, and people would get off and visit different factories. So a lot of the guys that would come into the factory, if they sounded like they knew what they were talking about, I would run to the back and grab something that I had worked on that day or that week or the month before and have them try it. And so that turned into a lot of private labels or house cigars for a lot of these shops that we still today make cigars for. Then from there, new guys getting into the industry, new brands started to come to the factory for us to make a cigar for them in Miami, as well as existing companies that already had brands that wanted a boutique cigar, something made in Miami. And during that time, John had been following a lot of the stuff that I had been doing for other shops, ourselves, and other brands. And so we had dinner one night, talked about the possibilities of me coming over to Drew Estate and basically do what I was doing in Miami at a larger scale. And that's how it is still to this day. Since I joined Drew Estate, I have my own team that I train, like my guys in Miami. And my guys in Miami, the way that I learned about tobacco and cigars, they're all from Cuba. Combined, you have maybe 10 years. If you add up all the guys, the amount of time that they've been in the States, if you add up all the time, it's about 10 years. So they were plucked from a factory in Cuba and put in another factory in Miami. So the only difference is that we're not using tobacco from Cuba, but they're making the cigars the same exact way as they made in the factories over there. So one of the conditions about me coming over to Drew Estate would be, or was, for me to train my guys and have all the cigars associated with me made the same way as the cigars that are made in Miami or Cuba. And still to this day, that's how my team works. You know, they bunch the cigars, the Tubalo method. They mount the heads. They're all triple capped. And so the first cigar that I did, that we released, that I blended when I joined the company was the Herrera Lee, followed by the Lancero, the limited size, or Limitada. Then after that, the Norteño. And now we did this year the Churchill Limitada. And then the first cigar that I blended for the company that doesn't fall under the Herrera umbrella is the Underground Shade. And that one we just introduced it at the show as well.
So what is your background, Lee? Can you please tell us a little bit?
Yes, I grew up here locally, just the next farm over on a tobacco farm. My family has always been in tobacco. Went on and worked on the farm most of my life. Went to school when I got out. I raised tobacco for years myself. Worked a while for the University of Kentucky in the tobacco research program. Then a few years later, went to work with Halen Cotton International Group, which we're a world supplier of all types of tobaccos. We're in many origins around the world and a supplier to Drew Estate.
One of the things that you guys are going to notice about the Kentucky Fire Cure Every tobacco, depending on the variety, give you a whole different yield. Okay? So the yield that they have in this tobacco farm, at that point you got like 5 different primers. Okay? And those different primers are called, the ones from the bottom are called bolado. Then you have the seco. Then you, from the middle part of the plant, you got the viso. And the top part of the plant, that's when you have the ligero. So you have bolado, seco, viso, and ligero. So when it comes to the seco, the bolado, the seco, the viso, and the ligero, you have different tobacco strains. You have different flavors. So the ones from the bottom, those are very thin. They are very big, you know, and those are very mild when it comes to the strength. The ones that are in the middle, those are big, so those have a lot of flavor, okay? And the ones that are at the top, they have a lot of strength. That's what they call the head. And depending on the cigar blend that you want to accomplish, if this is want to be a mild to medium, a medium body, medium to full, or full body, that will be determinate where that leaf of the half the strain is coming from the plant, you know? So as soon as you are priming the leaf in the tobacco field, you are bringing that leaf immediately into the cure barn. In the cure barn, the leaf spends about 55 days. Over here, as soon as they bring the tobacco plant into the fire cure barns, you guys do 2 times you fire the tobacco 2 times. 10 days, then you let it rest for 1 day, and then you fire the cure barn again for another 10 days. And then you bring the tobacco right here, and these gentlemen start to cut what they call the fillet, which is the best of the best out of this stack. Okay? So, you guys have any questions?
What's behind the pressing in the box right there?
Okay, say that again, my friend.
What's behind the pressing? Why are they pressing the leaves?
They will put these leaves in the box, then they'll press them down into what we call flakes. And this tobacco is somewhat sticky, so it'll stay together. And it used to be baskets, which is long gone through the years, but we put it on hogs and tops now. And they'll flake it and build it up to 600-700 pounds, and that's how it's delivered to the company.
Another question?
Not a talkative bunch.
Are they dividing the different ligeros and boleros?
Say it again?
Are they dividing them up?
No, that'll be done after. That'll all go to classification, right, Lee? From here?
No, a lot of this is snuff tobacco now, and basically, they'll do it in 2 grades. They'll take the bottom off, which we call the lugs, and a lot of times the second and the leaf will go together.
So right now, they're basically getting in that box, the visos and ligeros.
Correct.
Now, in the premium cigar industry, you have 2 different classifications when it comes to tobacco in general, which is the dark tobacco. You have filler tobacco and you have grapper. Out of the grapper, you can get the binder, but the grapper is the best of the best. And also the grapper provides the beauty of the cigar, while the filler provides the salt in the heart. That's where the strength, the flavor comes from, you know. Also, you have a very nice flavor out of the grapper as well, but the heart of it is the filler, you know. So up here, and one of the things that you will see, Kentucky Fire Cured tobacco have never been used in a premium cigar. And when Drew Estate came along and we released the Kentucky Fire Cure, people were very curious to smoke the cigar, to try the cigar, because when we were talking about Fire Cure, once you're smoking the Kentucky Fire Cure, you got the barbecue, you know, type of taste, the smoky taste that is predominant in the entire cigar. But how you put those tobacco together, that's the question, you know? Because having a unique product, a cigar could not be called unique cigar just because of the fancy band or the fancy packaging presentation in the box, you know? A cigar by itself is a good cigar when the cigar can sell by itself. But the cigar will sell by itself. It has the quality, but most importantly, if it has the consistency. That's what you will see when it comes to Drew Estate brands. We release the acid cigars, you know. We release the Tabaco Especial, which is the infused segment of cigar brands that we have. But we also have the traditional cigar, which is Liga Privada, Norteño, Herrera Estelí, Nica Rustica, Kentucky Fire Cure. And that's what really makes the difference between Drew Estate and other cigar companies. And the difference is that we have cigar for every different palate, you know? From mild to medium, medium body, medium to full, infused cigars, so you guys name it. And at the end of the day, it's about thinking outside of the box, you know? Because at the end of the day, it's about releasing something unique. And not just releasing for 1 year, 2 years, and then the cigar disappearing. How did the cigar disappear out of the shelf? Because the consistency is not right, you know? If you are gonna invest your money in something, that something has to be worth it for you to come along and try the cigar. And eventually, you're gonna be promoting that cigar to your friends, you know, and promoting that cigar nowadays, which is a big and huge tool. And that has been changing the game of any industry when it comes to business, which is social media. Social media is a big thing. Matter of fact, today we have Storm. My man right there, please raise your hand, bro. Storm is the head of, you probably have heard this group, Cats. It's a huge group on Facebook, you know. And one of the things I have noticed, when the cigar has so much noise, and that comes along when people smoke the cigar, they take a picture and they post it. Me personally, if I start to see a new cigar that has been posted on social media many times, I will be so curious to try that cigar. You see what I'm saying? So social media is very important to us as well, you know, not just for Drew Estate, but for a lot of different companies. And that's what really makes Drew Estate different, you know? Bringing cigars that are very unique to the flavor, to the strength, and most importantly, the concept. Because the cigar by itself, every cigar should have a story. And the rich story that Kentucky Fire Cure has, that today every one of you has been witness, is that how the whole process takes place in this farm. You guys have any questions? All right, so if you guys don't have any question, I think that we're gonna be moving to the next stage. You guys wanna ask something else? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.